What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We just got back from Andy's SLAYDAY and I gotta say it was an absolutely incredible time. We set a goal to burn 50 tires in the 2 days that Andy's SLAYDAY was going on, and we hit that goal, although it took us 3 days. The interesting thing is, right when we got down to the high 40s, I realized that I actually was 2 tires short and it didn't actually bring enough tires. So we ended up swapping the front onto the rear. That way we could burn that last set and hit the 50 mark. It was quite the momentous feat, I would say, but more importantly, I've got as much seat time in those 3 days as I've had really since I've been drifting. You know, I was a little nervous going into some tandems when I got there, and you know, by the end of day 1 and going into day 2 and day 3, I was super confident with the tandem, super confident with pitching the car around the track. So I think it was about the end of the first day where we had about 15 tires burned. It was towards the evening, 6-7 o'clock. Alex, one of Andy's crew, walks up to me and says, "Hey, this is a PBM part. Do you have any idea what car it could come from?" And you know, I have tons and tons of PBM stuff on my car. We did have a couple off-road adventures, if you want to call it that, but the car was driving fine. So you know, my response to him was, it's probably not mine, and some idiot's driving around the track right now, or has been driving around the track all day without part of their suspension. So I thought it was quite comical, but needless to say, I hit up a couple of my friends, try to find out what it is for so I could help someone out and get them this part back. The interesting thing was I hit up my buddy Mark, and he said it looks like a bump stop for the control arm, and it looks like it's probably from my car. So I got up under the car. Sure enough, driver's side had this PBM bump stop, and the passenger side did not. And I guess what it's made to do is kind of control the amount of angle. That way you don't, you know, your wheel doesn't hit your control arm, or at least that's my understanding. So it's probably a good part to have in the car, because I know PBM designed it to be there, and it does prevent locking up at full angle. But we decided to continue without it for the rest of the 2 days, given that I did not even know that it was missing. And we had a good 2 days. So the car is actually off to get a rear main seal leak fixed right now. I'm going to drop it off to Temecula. Then I'm going to take the car down to Mark Chance with Ruckus Racing. He's going to put this in, do a nut and bolt check, get the car realigned, see if I've broken anything. I don't think I have. You know, the car, I got to say, the car stood up to quite a beating. We didn't get to do an oil change in those 3 days, but 50 sets of tires, probably 6, 7, 8 hours of seat time, and she barely ran warm. She barely had any issues, and she absolutely took a beating. Now, if you guys remember, I bought this car on eBay, and I got really lucky because the car ended up having 480 wheel horsepower, headers, cam, valve train, and all that good stuff. And it is a fresh motor. So super stoked on how well the car has done so far. I'm not surprised. I mean, we probably have some clips of John Schaefer beating the crap out of his LS S14, and he's had that motor 3 years, and the dude runs it at Redline all the time, and it's still going strong. So I have high hopes that this car, at least motor wise, is going to be super reliable for me. I was mainly running a combination of 265 Lionheart tires. Those were, you know, obviously they're not super grippy and they're cheap, but I was getting 5-6 laps out of them. They don't put out much smoke either. But then I was running some Federal RSRs, and I gotta say, those RSRs are incredible in terms of grip, forward grip, side grip. They lay out a ton of smoke, so it looks really cool. The problem is, though, I get about 2 laps on a full set of RSRs, so roughly $100 a lap. The smoke show looks cool, but man, definitely hurts the wallet a little. Also, I'm sure you guys are aware the 370Z build is almost done right now. We're gonna have another vlog about that. It's just getting finished up with the Wise Fab and everything else. We got a smoking deal on that car. We bought it for $4,000 with 2,000 miles on it with minor front end damage. So that's coming up soon. My goal initially was to have this be my comp car in the future, obviously once I get a lot more practice, and for the 370Z kind of to be my practice car. But the more and more people I spoke to, they kind of said it makes sense to have a similar practice car as your actual comp car. That way it's giving you that right level of practice versus the driving dynamic from a 370Z to a Corvette with the rear mounted transaxle is quite a bit different. So although the 370 is going to be fun, in all reality, I don't think it's going to give me the practice I need in this platform. So I'm pretty sure what I've come to the conclusion of doing is taking my current track vet, and I'm sure some of you guys know, in addition to the drift vet, I do have a track vet. I've had 12 years, makes about 700 wheel. It's got a fresh stroker, supercharged motor in it. But I think what I'm leaning towards doing is actually taking that track vet, as nice as it is, and turning it into a drift vet. And that would probably be the comp car build that I would do, making this the practice car. A lot of people are telling me that I shouldn't destroy that car because it's so beautiful and I have such long history with it. Other people are telling me, and the way I kind of feel is, I'm never going to the racetrack again, guys. I'm like, now that I've discovered drifting, I'm not going to be going to the track, and that car is just going to sit there. And yeah, it makes a badass street car, but I've got the Supra, I've got the Viper. Odds are I'm really not going to drive it. So I'm personally leaning towards making that into a comp car. I'll have a year or two to start building it up till I'm ready to compete at that level, hopefully. And in the meantime, I'll have this and the 370Z to play with. So give me your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys think we should do. I just ordered a bunch more tires. I was actually happy to come home to about 15 tires that got delivered, the Federal 595s. I just ordered about 15 to 16 more of the RSRs. There is a drift event coming up next weekend, and almost every weekend at Apple Valley moving forward. However, I think what my plan is probably at the end of this week, I'm gonna go do some more drifting. I kept my RV trailer permanently at AVS. I've got a special arrangement with them to where it's semi-permanently there. That way, anytime I wanna go to the track, I can tow my car, I can have somewhere to crash, somewhere to relax. After drifting these 3 days at SLAYDAY and working to hit my 50 tire goal, not exaggerating, my hands were swollen at the end of it. You know, my legs were tired, my whole body's tired, but you know, I had blisters on my hands. I definitely need to start using gloves. And for the first time in my short drifting career, those last 3 or 4 sets of tires, I wasn't excited about them. I could not wait to burn off the tires, to pack up, go home, shower, and sleep. I didn't shower for 3 days. I spent a lot of time on the track meeting some amazing people, forging some lifelong friendships. Honestly, it was incredible. Drift all throughout the day. You barbecue at night, you chill with the boys, you wake up early, and you do it again. So, Andy, thank you very much for hosting SLAYDAY. I think it was your 7th or 8th year. You're an amazing man. You made me tacos almost every single night, and we're there first thing in the morning to make sure that the event went off without a hitch. Stay tuned for lots of more drifting content and drifting footage. I still have tons and tons and tons to learn, but I'm learning very quick with the amount of seat time I'm getting. My goal is to burn 50 to 70 tires a month from now until May or June, and then maybe starting to get into some shootouts and competitions. I'm blessed to be surrounded with some of the best drifters around, and they're more than happy to share their thoughts with me, give me tips, do ride-alongs, let me know where I'm sucking, let me know where I'm doing well. So I think I can really make some progress very, very quickly. The drift community is really, really amazing thus far. I mean, everyone's super friendly. Everyone's willing to go above and beyond. Everyone's willing to offer up parts if something breaks. I truly got to say, I'm happy to be growing into this community, forging those new friendships, and more importantly, sharing the journey with you guys. Because you know, as you know, I've only been drifting since about April. My first time ever seeing drifting in person was at SLAYDAY last year. Corey took me there, and I was blown away, and I was scared, even watching the rookies, thinking I'd never be able to do what these guys are doing. And then by April, I bought my first drift car. It was a beater 350Z, as is, ready to drift. I drifted that for about 4 months, blew the motor, made the determination to throw in another stock VQ, and then buy a vet to build. So I sold that 350Z at that time to a good friend of mine, Runway J. And so I was without a car for 3 or 4 months. And as you guys know, I just barely got this car back 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I've really only been drifting about 4 months, 5 months. Granted, I'm getting a super lot of seat time. So I already got a chance to go down and get some fresh tires mounted, as you can see. That way I'm ready to drift at moment's notice. You guys will notice there's really no vlogging done from SLAYDAY, from the track these past 3 days. I'm kind of shooting my video afterwards, although we have tons of B-roll and tons of sick drifting content. The reason for that is I really thought it would be easier to burn through those 50 tires in those 3 or 4 days, in 2 or 3 days rather, but it wasn't. It was very difficult, and every free moment I had was drifting, getting tires, checking the car out, making sure everything was running well. So I didn't get much of any time to vlog at all. I do plan on doing that in the future. That way I can give you guys better content. But in the meantime, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. That first video that I put out is at 60 or 70 views in the last 5 days. Honestly, it's better than I thought it would do. I know how the game works, and I know that we're gonna be shooting a lot of content and putting out a lot of content. We're probably not having tons of traction at the beginning, so definitely share the videos. It helps to keep making this content. I'm not doing this to make money off of it. I'm just doing it to share the journey, and it makes it a little more exciting to do when there are viewers and there are followers. So once again, like, follow, subscribe, and help us keep creating this awesome content for you guys.